Hi. You know what I love? Films about making films. And today I'm going to try and explain to you why is it that I love this genre so much. And I am also going to be sharing a watch list curated by yours truly about all things meta madness, so stay till the end. There's something enchanting about getting a peep behind the velvet curtains. It makes us as an audience feel excited, nervous, and even a little bit mischievous. We see the chaos, the stress, and the ego battles unfurl, and somehow that gets addictive because we aren't the ones under the pressure. Ambition and desperation collide in ways that are endlessly fascinating. And there's a certain comfort in knowing that these people who've created these worlds are also human, flawed, and even struggling in ways like we are. But we're also looking for that hint of hope. And that is exactly what the latest Netflix show, Paths of Bollywood, did exactly right. It offers a whole world of the Hindi film industry to the audience, almost as we imagine it. And this genre is a little bit tricky because let's be honest, watching a world that you don't really know of can get alienating. But that's exactly where this show magic comes into being. It gives its audience the perfect seat, played with pastiche and references that we are already aware of. Whether it be Karan Johar calling himself the film mafia, or the roundtable discussion about the silver spoons of Bollywood, moments like these hit because they tap into the version of Bollywood that people know of, but it is still treated in a way that feels larger than life, yet special. And the characters, that is something that stays with us even after the credits roll. From Asman and Parvez to Anya, all of them left a mark. Like, can you imagine this show without Raghav giving an homage to Imran Hashmi? Or without him calling out Ranveer Singh while claiming to be the real gully boy? The way these characters deal with ambition, the chaos of Bollywood, and their friendship is something that invites you into their journey. This show may be a bit extra, it may be meta, but it really taps into those heartfelt moments. We laugh at the absurdity, but we also connect with the human struggles behind the glamour. And this year felt like a treat. Because besides Bollywood, we also got a glimpse into the craziness that's Hollywood through the studio. This Emmy Award-winning show felt like somebody took everything that was wrong in this industry and made it into the funniest yet most satisfying watch of the year. And it works not just because of its witty, sharp writing, but its incredible long takes that snap at the right moment and make your heart beat faster according to the chaos on the screen. Matt Remick starts off as a producer supporting art cinema, but ends up becoming a head of a commercial studio, juggling executive whims and impossible deadlines. But my highlight of the show has to be Sal Saperstein becoming a meme, not just in the show, but also in real life. Like, how meta is that? What makes these stories addictive is the fact that they let you live somebody else's life. It's as if these characters are playing out their lives for you. If they win something, something in you ignites. You start experiencing these moments of small doubts, of failures, of wins and of success with these characters. And by the end of the film, you are left feeling exactly what the character was feeling. And that happens because they spoke to that dreamer in you. It ignited that hope, that passion, and those endless possibilities. It makes you feel that maybe, just maybe, if you tried hard enough, even you could get it. This genre can be dealt with in a different tonality by exploring different arcs and themes. Now, say for example, Luck by Chance is a film about Vikram trying to make it big in the industry, and Sona, who's also trying to do the same. But they're also exploring their relationship together in this industry, which is anything but kind. And Damien Chazelle tries to explore something similar with Sebastian and Mia in La La Land. Two passionate people trying to make a name for themselves in the industry end up finding each other. And even though La La Land is a Hollywood musical, it slaps in the most realistic ways, especially in the second half of the film. And watching ambition, love, and creative struggles collide in this way is addictive because it mirrors life. But nothing beats Farah Khan in this genre. She gave us a legacy by giving us a cult classic, Tismar Khan, the ultimate brain rot of Bollywood. Like, only she can get Akshay Kumar to direct a film for the Oscars as a ploy to escape prison. Only the OG can do this. But talking about films that celebrate cinema, Singing in the Rain is the absolute masterpiece. It is set in Hollywood's big shift from the silent films to the talkies, and the chaos that follows is absolute gold. Imagine realizing that your leading lady has a voice that is just not suitable for sound. That blow sets off a series of funniest and most memorable moments in movie history. It left me more fascinated than ever about the film industry in that day and age. This genre can be dealt in a tone and depth different than what we've already discussed. Gurudutt's Kaagaz Ke Phool is a haunting masterpiece. It's about loneliness that comes with fame, the cost of ambition, and the heartbreak that comes when you see your life being reflected on the camera lens. Every shadow, every pause, every composition is deliberate and speaks to you in a tone of melancholy. And watching human fragility being explored on screen that way rattled something in you. Now I want you to understand that I'm a 2000s kid. So my introduction to Bollywood was through the iconic Om Shanti Om. This film did it all. From giving us Shanti Priya as the perfect dream girl to making us feel like celebrities at every dance party, we're making our own Devangi entries, to making us all dreamers believe कि अगर किसी भी चीज़ को शिद्दत से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात उसे तुम्हें मिलाने में जुट जाती है. Om Shanti Om opened Bollywood's window for all Indians, making them believe and breathe in the magic of cinema. Watching the film unfold is oddly comforting because it reminds us that dreaming and striving are universal human experiences. So now, as promised, here is my watch list. If you are a cinephile who cannot shut up about The Godfather, watch The Offer. It'll give you the behind the scenes of what went into making this film in the first place. If you want to see a bunch of passionate people coming together to just make a film and entertain, then you should watch Super Boys of Malegaon. And if you've already watched the film, do give the original documentary Super Men of Malegaon a chance. If you want to experience the magic and the chaos of the late 1940s Bollywood, then Jubilee is my pick for you. And if you want to watch none of that and just some mindless fun full of romance, action, and a little bit of drama and comedy, then go watch Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt at their best in The Fall Guy.